This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big updates to share with you. President Biden went to Illinois talking about the global food crisis and how to solve it. I'll play the video clip of what he said. We'll also play the video clip of the Republican perspective of what President Biden could do better about inflation. 1 million lives have been lost due to COVID in America. We'll talk about the increase in Social Security, plus this article, stimulus update. How much will your next stimulus check be for? Plus, I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So White House officially marks 1 million American deaths from COVID and pushes Congress for more funding. So originally the Ukrainian bill and the COVID funding bill were together, but the Ukrainian bill split off. $40 billion that's going to pass on its own, still has to go through the Senate, and then they're going to have the COVID funding bill. So still don't know how much the COVID funding bill will be. Originally, I think it was around 13 billion, but not sure now. But now that there is a million lives lost, there's more of a push for that. So on the White House website, a proclamation on remembering the 1 million Americans lost to COVID-19. What he said here is, today we mark the tragic milestone, 1 million American lives lost to COVID-19, 1 million empty chairs around the dinner table, each an irreplaceable loss, each leaving behind a family, a community, a nation forever changed because of this pandemic. Jill and I pray for each of them. Yeah, so pretty sad that all that happened, all those lives lost. But moving on, President Biden talks more about inflation. So Biden talks inflation, another swing and a miss. So what it's saying here, this is an opinion piece, but voters just aren't buying what the president is peddling. And I ask often what you think about this, and a lot of your comments are saying you're not really buying what President Biden is saying either. So President Biden visits Illinois farm to highlight Russian-driven food inflation. So here is what President Biden has to say about that. Take a look what he says.
The brutal war launched on Ukrainian soil has prevented Ukrainian farmers from planting next year's crop and next year's harvest. And they're not doing too darn well in Russia either. Russia's the second largest producer. But we're doing something about it. And our farmers are helping on both fronts, reducing the cost of price of food at home and expanding production and feeding the world in need. We have to keep investing in our farmers to reduce the cost, to reduce prices to consumers, and have the most productive, most efficient farmers in the world here in the United States. We've always combined generations of know-how with cutting-edge technology to feed us and the world. And I'm going to keep fighting for family farmers like Jeff so they can do what they do best.
So what are your thoughts on that? Global food crisis not getting any better, but there's another perspective on this. So Biden, the blamer, White House pins inflation, high gas prices on Putin, corporate greed, COVID-19, and more. So consumer price index rose to 8.3% in April, but Republicans and Fox News is not too happy with the way Biden is handling it. Take a look at what their perspective is.
My Republican colleagues say these programs to help the working class and middle class people, they say that's why we have inflation. They're dead wrong. Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king, the deficit increased every single year he was president.
Inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden walked into the White House. That was President Biden yesterday, blaming now Republicans this time, being responsible for the soaring inflation and record high gasoline prices. Joining me right now is Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr. He is a member of the Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. You just heard Biden. He's also really trying to make the word ultra MAGA a bad word. He keeps saying ultra MAGA this and ultra MAGA that, as it is supposed to suggest that anybody who is MAGA is a bad person. Do you consider yourself a MAGA person, Make America Great Again, Andy Barr?
Of course, we all should want to make America great again, and unfortunately, I think the American people are laughing off Joe Biden's claim that somehow inflation was worse under the previous administration. As you said, inflation was less than 2% the entire term of the previous president. It has soared since the overspending policies of this administration, and it's not just the overspending, it's the fact that this administration has waged a war on domestic energy production, constraining the supply of energy, paying people to not work through this overspending program, which has constrained the supply of labor. And the threat of higher taxes from the Biden administration has prevented the capital expenditures that we need to repair our supply chains. So the American people don't buy any of this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, President Trump hears him talking about Ultra MAGA. He's actually using it to sell T-shirts to raise money. He's got a T-shirt of him called Ultra MAGA, MAGA King, for people to buy T-shirts on this. I mean, is it resonating that the president is trying to divide this country again, calling Ultra MAGA versus the rest of us? I mean, what is he trying to say by saying Ultra MAGA so much?
Well, he's trying to deflect blame away from anyone but himself. But the fact of the matter is, this inflation crisis resulted in a toxic mix, a supply-demand mismatch, a toxic mix of bad policies from this administration, from congressional Democrats, and the Federal Reserve. All the while, this administration was constraining the supply of energy and labor and threatening higher taxes, which froze business investment. Congressional Democrats were on a spending binge that created excess demand. And then the Federal Reserve, despite our warnings, continued its quantitative easing program, continued to buy assets, continued to keep interest rates too low for too long, and this created this disastrous 40-year high in inflation. Yesterday's Department of Labor report shows that inflation is not transitory. It is staying with us. Prices continue to rise across every category. And the only reason, Maria, that we didn't have a 9th consecutive month of inflation rate increasing was because there was a slight easing in fuel prices last month. This month, there was a total reversal. Gas prices this week hit a $4.37 nationwide per gallon high. Again, gas prices are historic high. Yeah. The American people are not buying this.
Well,
and they can't afford it.
Congressman, you know, they're talking about inflation at the kitchen table, but the lawmakers on the Democrat side, progressives, are instead talking about abortion. They're marching from the House to the Senate just before Senator Joe Manchin tanked the party's abortion bill. Here's Senator Manchin yesterday on why he voted no to that bill. Watch.
Make no mistake, it is not Roe v. Wade codification. It's an expansion. It wipes 500 state laws off the books. It expands abortion. And with that, that's not where we are today. We should not be dividing this country further than we're already divided.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? So moving on, high inflation continues to point to bigger Social Security cost of living adjustment in 2023. So a record high inflation continues, and beneficiaries saw a 5.9% boost for this year, 2022. And it could be as high as maybe 8% or higher for 2023. Although it's a higher pay, it really only makes sense if inflation goes down. And that's how Social Security beneficiaries will benefit, or recipients will benefit. So we could see a higher COLA, still on the promise of President Biden saying an increase of $200 more per month for every Social Security recipient. That hasn't followed through. When it comes to student loan forgiveness, he has said that it's going to happen in the next few weeks. Most likely it's going to be closer to the midterm elections to help out the Democrats, but still no word on that $200 increase with Social Security. That was a big promise too. That probably got a lot of votes, and he should probably follow through with that too. Otherwise, it's going to spell a lot more trouble. Moving on to stimulus. So stimulus update. How much will your next stimulus check be for? Well, in terms of a federal stimulus check, there are some gas stimulus check proposals going around which aren't really gaining much traction. So that could have been the $100 to $300 per month with that, or a potential $400 per year. So Either way, those aren't really going too well. Child tax credit, still, that's not moving anywhere, whether it's the one that was in the Build Back Better or the Mitt Romney child tax plan, that's not going anywhere. So all there really is just kind of state stimulus checks at the moment. So stimulus updates to know for spring 2022. I'll go over really quick the latest states giving out stimulus checks. So California, potential $400 per vehicle, up to $800 per household. Illinois, $100 per person, $50 per child. And the proposal would also provide $300 in property tax relief checks. Idaho giving 12% or $75 of their 2020 taxes, whichever one is higher. Maine, $850 stimulus checks. And then Mexico, $500 or actually $500 for couples, $250 for singles. And then a refundable child tax credit of up to $175. Indiana going with a $125 stimulus check. Georgia, $250 for singles, $500 for joint filers. New Jersey, $500 for singles, $1,000 for couples. Virginia, legislators are hashing out the details of a potential $300 stimulus check to all Virginia taxpayers. And then New York, it's going to be a property tax rebate of anywhere between $425 to $970 for low and middle income households in the state. And then Hawaii, $100 refund, or $100 per person and $100 per dependent, which would approve $300 checks for taxpayers less than $100,000. So yeah, those are the latest stimulus checks. And then in terms of Pennsylvania, so Governor Wolf continuing push for property tax rebate program. He's the one who wanted to give $2,000 stimulus checks to all Pennsylvanians. Now he's doubling down on something else, saying, I want to double the rebate for every participant in the program. This is one way that we could help take some pressure off of older adults on a fixed income. The best part about it is that we can do it using federal dollars that are just sitting there in Pennsylvanians' bank account. So basically, the tax rebate program estimates 466,000 residents would receive an average rebate of $475. That's separate from the $2,000 stimulus check. And that is all the news that I have to share with you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
The one thing for the tip of the day, be glad what you have, because I might not be there, because if you really wanted something and now you don't like it, you have to take a chance what you had before, because I might not be there. So that's the last tip of the day that I wanted to give. Bye, it's Bella.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your time and all of your support. It really means a lot to me. I'm going to be giving out more $200 checks. I'll be making the announcement in just a few days, so stay tuned for that. And hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you have any feedback or anything, let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to check out my latest videos on my other channels, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.